those who can. Thank you very much, councillors. You've all received. And then concludes the communication by the speech on Roman 10. Municipal Manager, any written questions please to your office?
Yes, Speaker, I can confirm we received a question which was dealt with in accordance with Rule 69.
Thank you very much, Municipal Manager. Executive Mayor, any questions for yourself?
Speaker.
Thank you very much. Councillors, we then move to our agenda for this morning. Starting on E9, page 107, and we will also now start the live streaming of this council session, and our sign language interpreters also there to start with our duty. We are then on item E9, the writing of recoverable debts for the period ending February 2023. That is in front of us this morning. See all the totals there, and also the debt back report. And I would like to ask that we have a proposal in terms of the recommendation in front of us.
Madam Speaker, good morning. I would like to propose. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Furness. Do we have a seconder for Councillor Furness?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will second it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Miller. We then have seconded by Councillor Miller. I see the light of Councillor House. For question, Councillor House, you may proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the ACDP will abstain on this item. Let me express my compassion for those, Speaker, that are experiencing financial difficulty. I understand that we have got policies in place and that we can assist people when they are in trouble financially with regards to the municipal accounts. My concern once again with this item is that there are tamper fees included in this amount for write-off. And in my opinion, it's unconscionable that we are writing off fines for what is essentially criminal activity. Also, the fact that this tampering fees is not just in what we would consider the poorer communities that are struggling financially, but it's happening across our town. And this tells me that there's a general disregard for law and order. And I think that we need to be much stricter when it comes to people that are tampering with our electricity meters. For that reason, the ACDP is not going to support the item, Speaker, because also in our reports, we've seen how many millions are being lost every month to illegal connections. And we don't have an idea yet of what is being lost due to tampering. The theft of electricity through meters that have been tampered with. And I think we would be quite shocked if we actually did an audit. I know that we have got measures in place with our accounting. If accounts suddenly drop and so on, that we do send out investigators to look. But yes, as the ACDP, we won't support this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor House. We then noting that the ACDP is abstaining from item 9 for the reasons raised by Councillor House. If there's no other input, we then will. Executive Mayor, my apologies.
Speaker, thank you. I share the frustration of Councillor House. I think some of the that's irrecoverable. That's the problem. People dying and so on. So that, but yeah, obviously we don't want to allow people to just go ahead and steal electricity. At this stage, and I want to thank Director Naidu. He's got the unfortunate job of going and removing this. We're quite aware of the amount of losses we at this stage that we occur due to theft. that is one of the reasons at this stage. And I think last week they did a outreach again where they removed. At this stage, it's definitely something that we're considering discussing, and that's also at this stage. Obviously, we're waiting for police backup, sometimes up to a month and a half before we can do this. And the idea is of spending money towards our own forces to go and do that basically on a daily basis to curb that. So yes, we are at this stage definitely working towards a solution on that side, but we definitely don't want to see people just getting a free ride for sure.
Thank you very much, Executive Mayor. Your comment and input is well noted and well received. No other input from any councillor. We then move to item E10, with noting that the ACD grant extended from item E9. Item E10 on page 114. Our quarterly report from supply chain management as at 31st December 2020. Cognizance in front of council. Can I have a proposal and council the cognizance?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mayor. Do you have a seconder?
Madam Speaker, I'll second.
Thank you very much, Councillor Furness. Is there any questions or issues on the item? Councillor Foss, I see you like to proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'd like to just acknowledge the role of the supply chain management department in the achieving of clean audits and other clean audits of this municipality. The volume of work that they do to supply or to award tenders, all the deviations that they work through, there's a huge volume of work. If we read through the reports, we can see that. And so I just want to compliment them as well as the CFO on the achievement of the clean audit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor House, for that vote of thanks to the department. Is there any other councillor who wishes to do any input or have a question? None. The item then carries and council. Item 11. The supply chain management monthly reports for deviations approved for the period October 2022 to December 2022 for council to take cognizance of. Can I have a proposal as a draft, please?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor Meyer. Do we have a seconder?
Madam Speaker, I'll second.
Thank you very much, Councillor Furness. Is there any questions from this report? Councillor Cox, I see your light. You may proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. No questions. I did submit quite a few. They were all answered satisfactorily. Thank you. I would also just like to extend a vote of thanks to the department for finalising the advertising tender as well as small building works, because they contributed quite a lot to our deviation report. So thank you.
Thank you very much. That vote of thanks is well received for the relevant department. I see no lights for any further questions or input. We then move to item E12, our monthly report with regards to supply chain management for the period October 2022 to December 2022. For cognizance in front of council, can I have a proposal that we take cognizance as such?
Madam Speaker, I'll propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor Furness. Do I have a seconder for Councillor Furness?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will second.
Thank you very much, Councillor Meyer. Is there any question of clarity or any comment from anybody? Councillor House, you may proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. May I just say that cognizance is taken of the report, but a matter arising from the report that the ACDP will be pursuing is the expenditure on municipal assets and the lack of income therefrom, which pertains specifically to the Bergse and the CSR plans. The ACDP will be submitting a substantial amount of questions in that regard. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Councillor House. It's well noted. The municipal manager also made a note, and when received, administration will surely deal accordingly. Item E13, our quarterly variant report for the period ending 31st of December 2022 for council to take cognizance of. Can I have a proposal in this regard, please?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor Annie. Do we have a seconder for Councillor Annie?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I will second.
Thank you very much, Council Work. For seconding, is there any questions from this report? Thank you. No, thank you. Council then take cognizance as item E14, our quarterly report of the expenditure section for the period ending 31st of December 2022 for council to take cognizance of. Can I have a proposal that we do as such?
Madam Speaker, I would like to propose this item.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kutsia. Do we have a seconder for Councillor Kutsia, please?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will second it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Meyer. Is there anybody who wishes to raise anything from this report? Councillor House, I note your hands. You may proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. Further to our mayor's speech and the 44 million rand that we are short in revenue, I'd like to just note the fact that the impact committee, one of the recommendations after our last meeting was that we would place a moratorium on non-essential spending. And I trust that this is being looked into. I do believe that this municipality is responsible for that. And yes, that the expenditure reports will reflect that. Thank you so much.
Definitely, thank you for your input, Councillor House. It's well noted. We are then at item E15 of the agenda. Our long-term borrowing process, and we have the recommendation in front of us. Can I please ask for a proposal in this regard?
Madam Speaker, I'll propose.
Thank you very much, Finance Chairperson. Do we have a seconder for Councillor Furness?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am second.
Thank you very much, Councillor Annie. Is there any councillor who wishes to ask any question of clarity? Councillor House, you may proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. Not a question of clarity, but a note for clarity for the public that this item has been accepted unanimously in this council chamber, and that the reason that the ACDP in particular has accepted the item is because the loans that have taken up have been to build infrastructure. It's not for operational expenses. And I think that there's a confusion in the public's mind regarding that issue. And we get hammered outside about the loans that we're taking up. But these loans are being taken up specifically to provide infrastructure that will, in the long term, provide services but also generate income. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor House. We then move to item E16, page 126. The proposed amendment to Mossel Municipality bylaw relating to public nuisance. We have our recommendations listed on points 1 to 5 in front of council for approval. Can I please ask for a proposal in this regard? A proposal, please.
Madam Speaker, I propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor Leroux. Do we have a seconder for Councillor Leroux?
Madam Speaker, sorry, just to be clear, we propose that this be referred back to workshop.
Okay, okay, can I,
Speaker,
just for the record,
sorry, the ACDP will support that recommendation.
thank you. Thank you, Councillor House. Okay, on item E16, the proposed amendment of the Mossel Municipality bylaw relating to public nuisance for administration, Councillor Leroux has proposed that the item be referred back for a workshop that has been seconded by the ICPP. Everybody comfortable? Thank you very much. The item then is referred back as such. Then move on to item E17. Item E17 on page 133. It's our HIV/AIDS in the workplace policy. This has also served before a committee meeting, and the recommendation in front of the council is to accept this policy for approval and implementation. Can I have a proposal in this regard? Thank you very much, Councillor Lagoon. Do I have a seconder?
And I second Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman Boyson. Is there any questions from anybody? Councillor House, you may proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. As this council knows, I do not serve on this committee. However, reading through the policy, I did note that a section in the policy regarding education of workers in the prevention of contracting HIV and AIDS. And the recommendation of what should be taught is that workers should condomize. Yet abstinence or faithfulness isn't mentioned regarding the education component of the policy. And Speaker, I'd like to just draw the council's attention to the fact that our mayor has a growth strategy. And according to that strategy, one of the legs of it is that he is seeking to promote moral regeneration in our town. And so we've just this morning heard Pastor Debbie speak about God giving us wisdom. And I'd like to implore this council to apply that wisdom when we approve this policy, that we should include in it the need to not only condomize, and that not be a priority, but that abstinence and faithfulness to your partner be included in the education. Zambia has, from the very beginning, had the most success in fighting HIV/AIDS, and that's because they employed an ABC policy: abstinence, be faithful, condomize, in that order. And we all know that condoms are not reliable in preventing of pregnancies, let alone HIV/AIDS. So it is a risk, and we will be placing our workers at risk if we tell them that the only way to prevent sexually transmitted HIV is through condomization. So my proposal to the council is that if anyone is willing to second my proposal, we include in the education the promotion of abstinence and faithfulness in your marriage or in your partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor House. So I gather that you're not against the policy, but you're proposing that amendment. Do you have a second? Is there a seconder for Councillor House?
I will second
Councillor Bamford is in seconding that proposal. I will deal with that now. Councillor Buddha.
Speaker, this item we told workshop was established to the trade union on the 26th September 2022. All trade unions were invited. And then we were told that the unions were given an opportunity to comment in writing, but there was no feedback received. The question, Speaker, were there any follow-up made by the trade unions where no comments came from them? That is one. Two, any trade union in support of the HIV and AIDS in the workshop place policy? Would the municipal manager or the mayor have evidence to prove that the trade unions are in support of this policy? Questions, please.
Thank you very much for your questions, Municipal Manager. Councillor Buddha then asked the position of our unions around this policy.
Speaker, thank you. I think we must look at it a bit broader. It's a legal requirement for this council to have an HIV and AIDS policy for their work. Legal requirement. Now, when we compile a policy, Speaker, there's a specific route that this policy needs to go. First, it goes to the management team. Management team look at it. From there, it goes to the unions where they are part of the local labor forum, give their inputs. Now, it happens, Speaker, that many times they say they must first go back to their members before they can give input. Then the LLF will give them, and we must remember the LLF is chaired sometimes by the employer and sometimes by the unions. So they get ample opportunity to give input. And if we decide on a date at the LLF that they will give input, but they don't come back to us, we cannot, unfortunately, not wait because there's a legal requirement on this council to have a policy. We do take note of what Councillor Hope said, the chairperson, and we will definitely include it when we do the training for our workers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Municipal Manager. Councillor Buddha, do you have a follow-up?
A follow-up.
And right after Councillor Buddha, I'll allow for Councillor Buddha to speak. You
Can I
may
just take
speak.
a, Speaker, we have a dissenting view on this policy. First Speaker, the HIV and AIDS, the workplace policy applies to municipality workers. In terms of the Labor Relations Act, trade unions are given organizational rights. They've got the rights and recognized in the workplace as two representatives, workers. On any policy that affects the lives of the workers, it must be negotiated with the trade unions, and the trade unions must be attached their signature on the policy and sign. You can see the signatures. If the trade union do not agree this policy in the workplace, they must not be enforced. Therefore, the policy must be not be approved if the workers are not in favor of that. So, our view, Speaker, we want this policy to be referred back so that all the affected unions, they must just touch. Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Buddha. So requesting that it be referred back. It is seconded. Okay. Second, Councillor Matricini. Yes, Councillor Buddha. Councillor Porter, can I just have a letter? Thank you. Then we can switch on you, Councillor Buddha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The DA caucus would just request a 10-minute.
10 minutes. And before I grant the caucus, can I just have Councillor Porter give his input? Then I'll allow for the DA to have the 10-minute caucus. Councillor Porter.
Thank you, Speaker. And also thank you for having this opportunity before you go focus, because I think you might have want to also refresh on what we alluded to. I want to commend the ANC for citing the importance of legislation. In this instance, labor legislation, particularly to Section 21 of the Labor Relations Act, that deals with the issue of organizational rights. But more especially, the fact that the employer in the municipality is party to national bargaining processes. And that should take preference. Any condition of employment, any move upward or downward, needs to be in consultation. There must be an agreement that affects workers in the municipality. But at the same time, I want to also commend the municipality for now want to put in place an HIV/AIDS policy. I mean, this HIV/AIDS is a long-standing, social ill in our community. It is, when at its emerging state, it was a life-threatening situation. Now, there are still a lot of things like stigmas and stuff that goes with it. It stays with us. It has been with us for years. As much as COVID will be for us, and I'm sure that there might be even a COVID policy for that matter. The point that I'm trying to make is that, we would like to comment as a PA, municipality, but also caution ourselves and align ourselves with the ANC that says, when we deal with that, parties involved in employment relationships, let us honor that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your input, Councillor Porter. Municipal Manager, I'll grant you your say and then I will grant the caucus.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, know what Councillor Buddha mentioned is the truth. And in this municipality, we do it according to what you say. The LLF is the exact forum, Councillor Buddha, where the parties come together and they negotiate. The council don't decide you do this and that's finished. We negotiate. Sometimes when we don't reach agreement, I think the chairperson of LLF is there. We refer it back until such time where the unions and the employer can reach agreement. In this specific case, there was a workshop with the unions. And I think there's in the committee pieces, there should be all the documents should be there. And the unions were given a further opportunity that if there's anything else they want to say, come back to us before a certain date. Now, if I say, if I get chance to say something before a certain date and I have an issue, I will come back, councillors, and say, listen, I've got this further issues with this policy. In this case, we didn't receive any further inputs from the union. Then the employer accepts the fact that they don't have any further problems, and we follow the procedure to bring it to the full council so the full council can accept it. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. And I can mention, Speaker, that the employers component, it's officials as well as councillors. Maybe the councillors must attend these meetings so they can see how things work inside of the LLF. We definitely are doing that. We agree to the labor law. We agree to the agreements set by the bargaining council. We treat our unions as fair as possible. And I think I normally say it, Speaker, Mossel has got one of the best relationships between the workers and the unions. Where you yourself had a session with them in the beginning of the term, and we're working very, very well together. And it's important, as Councillor Porter mentioned now, as accounting officer, must get this policy in place. So that when something happens, council can say, we've got this policy in place. This is how we should treat A, B, and C. Thank you. I just wanted the council to take note of that.
Thank you very much. I then grant the focus for 10 minutes for education by the DA. Thank you very much. Now we convene our meeting. Everybody can see that. Thank you very much. Welcome. The Democratic Alliance has requested a focus. I will allow for Councillor Porter to address the council in terms of the feedback of the meeting. Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Firstly, I think our position is I think we should not amend one-sidedly without consulting with the employers any amendments to this bill or to this policy. So our suggestion would be that this matter be referred back to get their inputs on the suggestion made by the councillor of the ACDP. And then only after obtaining the inputs of the unions can we bring it back here again. So we would ask it to be referred back for a month. And then also, Madam Speaker, on the same note, we would ask councillors to use the opportunity of the workshops or the LLF, which was not previously attended properly, to raise these issues beforehand or to consult with us beforehand so that we can plot a way forward that minimizes any risks to time and frustration for the administration. I do acknowledge that everyone has the right to voice their opinions in this meeting, but if we can perhaps just a plea from our side that such matters are raised beforehand for greater efficiency. So I do then propose that this item be referred back for the suggestion of the ACDP to be workshop with the unions.
Thank you very much. Do you have a seconder for that proposal?
I second.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lavu. Then the item will be referred back as per the comments made by Councillor Porter for the workshop, and the unions will have their input. Thank you very much. We then on item 18 of our agenda, page 124. And I would just like to take this opportunity to say a warm welcome to ex-councillors Combino. Thank you very much for joining our council meeting. It's very, very nice to see you in the gallery. Welcome. Item 18, the proposed amendments to the overtime policy. We have those recommendations, the recommendation for this item on page 137. In terms of the amendments and the council to the group. Can I have a proposal, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to propose the item.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ami. Is there a seconder for Councillor Ami?
Madam Speaker,
Thank you very much, Councillor Kannemeyer. Is there any inputs from any councillor on this item? None. I thank you. The item is carried. Item 19 of our agenda, the garden route skills makeup. Our recommendations are listed from points 1 to 4. Can I please ask for a proposal in this regard?
Madam Speaker, I would like to propose item 19.
Thank you very much, Councillor Babuma. We have a seconder for Councillor Babuma.
Second speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kannemeyer. Is there any councillor who wishes to ask any question of clarity or make input? I note the hand of Councillor Fouts. You may proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. When I read through the item, I noted that the constitution of a garden route skills measure was upon the recommendation of the provincial government that districts and municipalities engage in this. So I looked at the legislation, and from the legislation, my understanding is that a municipality's mandates as informed by the Constitution, the sections that we know, but specifically sections 229, mentions that a municipality can engage in specific activities if authorized by national legislation. And my concern with that is that the word is legislation and not instruction. My other concern with the item, Speaker, is that considering the economic impact that we've just heard about and that we've been well aware of for quite a while, how this will impact, because there's no real concrete amount that's been allocated towards the development of skills in the area. I understand that there's a need. I know the ACDP has been saying it in several council meetings that the unemployment in South Africa, and I noticed that the finance minister yesterday finally admitted it as well, is structural unemployment, which means that there are not skills for the work that is available. So I can appreciate that we would like to skill people in consultation with businesses so that they tell us this is the skill we need, and therefore we will engage in skilling people in those areas. But is it truly a function of a municipality, a district municipality, because we're going to have to pay a share towards this? And I'm just concerned about escalating costs. I haven't in principle got an issue against us assisting businesses and unemployed people in this manner. But is it not just once again where there's been a failure of national government that the ratepayers of Mossel Bay are going to have to step in again and do the work, pay for the work that national government should be doing? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Host. Can I then just get clarity on your position? The item you abstaining or against?
Speaker, I think if I can just maybe get an idea of what the estimated costs are going to be. I don't like to approve something when I don't know what kind of figures we're looking at. It's a blanket approval. There's no estimated cost. One of the questions that I asked was whether we would be appointing new employees. I was assured that current employees would be tasked or put on the task team, so that wouldn't be an additional cost. But typically, what costs would be involved weren't mentioned and they weren't quantified. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor House. Director Finkel, will you be able to respond in terms of clarity?
In terms of cost, just to say that we have our work-based skills plan, which more relates to the development of the employees and councillors and so on. So that part is in any case budgeted for annually. So that will slot in, and I don't think that will depend on the needs identified by the municipality as is done by the corporate services department. Developing skills outside of a municipality will be in line with specific economic development programs and projects. That could even not be, that could, for instance, be funded through a project that is already financially supported by the municipality, not just on the skills development or try to enhance the skills development portion of that fund. A good example, for instance, would be the contractor development program, which council in any case, which is approved by council and in cases supported by council also financially annually. So that already, there's already skills development happening. So council should view this as something that it will not be a separate leg running there on its own and for instance, millions of rands is flowing from this council budget to that. That is not our understanding of it. It's more to see how one can change all the efforts into this thing that was not thing, but this skills development program of the district municipality, which is part of their economic development program.
Thank you, Director Finkel. So it's about synchronizing what we're already doing and linking it up. Am I understanding you correct?
Speaker, most of it we are already doing. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. We will formalize whatever we are doing with this initiative of a district municipality. And in addition, we'll first have to go through the council budget processes for approval.
Thank you very much. Last comment, Councillor Post, it will be your third opportunity. Can you please proceed?
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, I thank Director Finkel for the reply. That does give me some comfort. My concern, I'm not going to abstain, the ACDP will accept the item. My concern that I would like noted though is that with previous garden routes municipality efforts, that this municipality is often carrying costs where other municipalities do not. I'm thinking of the garden route film office. I'm thinking of landfill sites. There's been several occasions where this municipality has to carry Oatswood and Neisner, those places. So I wouldn't like to see that happen with this as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your input is well noted and recorded as such. If there's no any other inputs or objections, the item carries unanimously. Thank you very much, councillors, and thank you, Director. We are then on item E20, the donation agreement between Wakon and the Mossel Municipality, one water powder. We have our recommendations in front of us. From points 1 to 5, can I please have a proposal in this regard?
Madam Speaker, I propose and was also said Ingosi Wakon.
Thank you, Alderman Boyson. You're saying thank you there for what done. And to proposing, do we have a seconder?
Madam Speaker, I would like to second.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kutsia, for seconding. The item, is there any question of clarity? I see the light of Councillor Kuda and then Councillor Majesty. That order, you may proceed.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in my understanding, Wakon is the one who built the mountain view that. Wakon is a construction, it's a company interesting in tenders with the municipality. Then it involved in the various tenders with the municipality. For an example, if you look at me that state and recently, they were busy with their farm works there. Yeah, the question speaker. Why? What is this donation? What did this donation decide? How did Rockland become aware the municipality require a water house? That is one. Two, with this donation not to create a bad perception in the public eyes and in the eyes of the other people that whenever Rockland received tender, it was because of their donation was an induced bribe. By induced bribe, I mean donation in order to get tender. Please, Speaker, does Municipal Municipality have a policy from accepting donation from interested bidders? This question excludes the mayor's fund for donation. Lastly, Speaker, does this donation qualify as a and pass in the ethical standards test? I want us to be that this Speaker.
Thank you very much for your four questions, Councillor Buddha. Councillor Machisini, are you covered with those four or do you have additional?
Manbulele Speaker. It's really big words of such good problems. The name is the end right in number. Money there. Ends but he knows zonke inkampani ezingezansi house. Futhi zizawusiza izinto kwanze imali ithena. Into yona lento ayenzileyo uwakona. Kodwa ke makulandele imithetho enkosi.
Thank you very much for your input. Any other questions? I do know lines. Councillor Post.
Thank you, Speaker. I would just like on behalf of the ACD to say that the browser is received with thanks.
That is noted. Thank you, Councillor Post. So we did have those four questions, Municipal Manager, Councillor Buddha. Please ask you to kindly respond. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson. Speaker, I'm going to ask my colleagues to assist me here. I just want to address the question of tenders first. I want to make it very, very clear. Thank you for the question, Councillor Buddha, because you preempt what people outside might think. I can make it very clear that as far as tenders is concerned, Speaker, we do it openly. We do it according to legislation. We do it according to the approved policies of this council. So we can stand openly and say, Speaker, if there's any person who can prove or has a complaint that a tender was given to a company because they donated something, they must come forward. We'll definitely investigate it. That's the first thing. The second thing, Chairperson, it's normal for a company to donate something to an institution. Donations are normal as long as it's transparent. What's happened here? We received, I don't know, the directors must tell how they came about it here. But if somebody offers us something, it's exactly the same with our staff. We can accept a gift, but we must declare it. In this case, we come to a full open council, the Mossel community, we are online, everybody can hear that this company out of goodwill donated a water bowser that will assist us because we've got a need. The director of community services, their director planted more than 3,000 trees for the year. And we need equipment to water those trees. The municipality on its own doesn't have the equipment. This thing will be used mostly to water our trees outside. If there are other users for it that can benefit our community, obviously it will do that. So I want to answer the question that it's legal for council to accept a donation from the site. Remember, we also donated some equipment to other municipalities in the past. So there's nothing wrong with that, Chairperson. Maybe, I don't know, Elise, whether you can, Director, can you tell us where this thing came from? Or any of the directors who can maybe put share light on that?
Thank you, Speaker. Evening. Yes, it's the Mountain View project. There was 550 trees just planted there alone. And they started to water the trees in the Mountain View project. But to continue watering the trees there, we will need a full-time water truck there just to water those trees. Otherwise, they will die. There is a lot of money that was spent on greening the environment. And we are very thankful that the contractor that initially started with the project started to donate the water.
Thank you very much for providing that clarity, Director now, Municipal Manager. Councillor Buddha will allow you to follow up. We conclude.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, here what the director said, our dissenting view must be united. First, Madam Speaker, shall not accept a donation from the bidders who will compromise the credibility of municipality. Bidders who are donating because they expect to be treated favorably in the eyes of the municipality to get these and future tenants. That is very dangerous. So here we will reject this because we know that work on all the way that used to be a bidder here, tenders here, so you receive something. This service our sending view must be
Thank you very much, Councillor Buddha. If I'm understanding you correct, you're not against the item, and we're noting your concern so that even there's no conflict in terms of what was raised validly there. We then move on as this item carries unanimously. Thank you very much, councillors. We are then on item E21, page 142. Land Use Planning Committee, composition of committee. The recommendation in front of us, 1.123. The council appoints Councillor Buddha to serve as a committee member, and that Councillor Kamp will be appointed to serve as a Kundi on the Land Use Planning Committee. The council appoints one Kundi from amongst the councillors to serve on the Land Use Planning Committee. 3, that the Land Use Planning Committee will therefore consist of the following council members as listed. They can have a proposal that's got, please.
Madam Speaker, I would like to propose an amendment. In the spirit of cooperation, the DA would like to propose that Councillor Buerta be removed from the committee and that 2 opposition councillors be appointed onto the committee. Further, that the DA would like to propose that the 2 secundies on the committee be Councillor Meyer and Councillor Buerta. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Do we have a seconder for that proposal with that amendment?
Madam Speaker, I will second and just provide some clarity. I have
You may proceed.
I have contacted all the whips and discussed this matter with them, and Councillor Buddha and Councillor Comfort have indicated that they will serve on this committee. If they can just confirm for themselves. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Councillor Comfort and Councillor Buddha.
That's correct, Speaker.
Dankie, hartelijk Comfort, vir die eerbare Councillor Puda.
And then Madam Speaker, you're right, fine. Madam Speaker, I was looking at this committee. But I want just to know the land use committee. What is going to be the co-function of this committee? And then, in my view, we want just as my colleague on that had said, all the parties must be represented. We're in a democratic all the parties must be represented in the committee so that we can take part.
Thank you very much for your questions. Councillor Buddha wants to know what's the purpose of the Land Planning Committee Municipal Manager or Mr. Prince or Councillor Kutsia will respond to that question. And then in terms of the representation, Councillor Buddha says all parties, but he agrees that he agrees to what council will do this morning or arrange between himself and the council. I will allow Councillor Kutsia and then Councillor Porter, directly after Councillor Kutsia. Councillor.
Madam Speaker, the purpose of this committee was established to ensure that we have a thorough public participation process and that all communities are represented through their ward councillors, as we've heard various times from our fellow councillors, ANC councillors, other ward councillors. So the purpose of this committee is to ensure that the representation of this council and the comments are given on all land use applications that is submitted to the municipality. So that's the purpose of the committee that was established.
Thank you very much for Councillor. Thank you, Councillor Kutsia. Councillor Porter, and then I'll allow Councillor Buddha before we conclude on the item. Councillor Porter, you may proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm not sure whether I want to be apologetic if something has slipped my mind in terms of the sequence of events that brought us thus far on this matter. Not sure whether I can recall that the work dates would be on the matter. That's to be not sure whether I'm having it correct now. What constitutes the number of representatives on this committee? Seemingly 7. And with the DA having
5+2.
Yeah. Of which the 5 voting powers. Am I correct? Then now of the 5, the DA suit nicely with 5 positions on this committee. Now, on the issue of fair representation, perhaps maybe the DA want to take a focus. Because it will be the position of the Patriotic Alliance that there is absolutely no fair representation in this. You know, if you look at the Sekundi, 1 position is vacant. If you look at the ANC representation there, I don't think it's fair to put to the ANC that Sekundi is the 2nd biggest party in the council. I'm not here to defend the ANC in that regard, but I want to draw the attention of this council to fairness. My appeal is I don't think that I had a fair opportunity to consider the PA position in this one. I maybe request that the DA revisit this point on the agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Porter. Councillor Buddha, I will just allow for the council work to respond and then I'll give it opportunity. Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now, just a point of personal clarification. This matter was shared on the works group on the 21 November 2022. It was indicated in that message that ICOSA and the ANC had expressed interest in the positions and that all other parties were afforded another opportunity to provide input. No input was received further other than that Councillor House and Councillor Baron indicated, irrespective of their parties, that they did not have an objection. There was also a personal phone call placed to Councillor Porter and his party on the 8th of December at 11 minutes past 11 in the morning, and the matter was discussed with him and clarified. Then regarding the composition of the party, Your Worship, pardon me, Madam Speaker, the position is that elections have consequences. The DA is taking 3 out of the 5 slots. That's less than the 66% we have in council. So we are affording the other parties a fair opportunity to also be on those committees. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much for that clarification, Council work. Councillor Buddha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I share the same sentiment with Patriotic Alliance. So you want that every political party will be fair. As I was asking Patrick, the co-function of this committee, as you elaborate what is going to happen in this committee, I saw a number of items. I think all the items, especially the alienation of them, is going to pass this committee. Nothing is going to bypass us, go there, and then we see take a decision there. That is why.
Thank you very much, Councillor Buddha, who is standing by his request that all political parties be represented. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Councillor Baron to the council meeting. He went for a quick hospital visit, and I'm happy to see that he's here and that he is great. Thank you very much. Councillor Kutsia, I'll allow you a second opportunity, and then Councillor Porter. No, otherwise, then I'll conclude on this matter. Thank you very much.
Madam Speaker, now I just want to respond to the proposal to the DA to amend the proposal. The DA does not support the amendment to the proposal, so we stand by our proposal as it is.
Noted. Thank you very much, Councillor Kutsia. Councillor Porter.
Indeed, it seems as if something slipped my mind.
It is correct.
Yeah, and really, I'm not sure. I know there's an item that we said we don't want to kind of. My memory serves me correct. It was this one. I read my case.
Baie dankie, Councillor Porter. Dat is verskoning van Raad.
Thank you, Speaker. I just want to inform Council that the ACDP does not support the formation of this committee because I believe it's duplication of powers and that it's an unnecessary cost to ratepayers. Thank you, Speaker. However, and if I may also just as a matter of clarity as concerns democracy, democracy, as I've said before, means the government of many, not the government of the majority. Thank you.
Noted, Councillor House. The proposer then stands by the composition and what has been proposed, and it has been seconded. And then the ANC indicate that they want fair representation, which is their proposal, Councillor Buddha. Do you have a seconder for your proposal in terms of fair representation? Councillor Tabula is then seconding what Councillor Buddha is proposing. We have the ACDP who is against this item. And then I will then now put to vote the proposal by the ANC. By the show of hands, can I just see? Yeah, I'm putting to vote now the proposal by Councillor Buddha in terms of recomposition and having more parties included. That's the proposal by the ANC, and then I will put the proposal of the DA to vote, and then we'll conclude on this matter. The position of the ACD2 is against. And now with the proposal of the ANC, can I see by the show of hands who's supporting the proposal of the ANC? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have. Six. Baie dankie. Can I ask the position of ICOSA? Thank you, Councillor Porter. I noted your hand is included by the ANC proposal.
I'm waiting for the vote, Speaker.
Yes. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. My apologies, Councillor Camper. All in favor of the proposal by the Democratic Alliance? Can I see you by the show of hands? Okay, that's it, Councillor. Ek sien die hand.
No.
Omdat ons refer per kans gehad om.
Baie dankie. Can I just note for record the position of the Freedom Front on this item? The Freedom Front abstain. Thank you very much. Then for minute purpose, we have the ICDP is against. The proposal of the ANC, we had 6, the DA 19, and the Freedom Front abstain. The item then carries. Thank you very much. We are on item B22. The proposed alienation of a portion of 890 situated adjacent to 497 Kus Technic Total Family Trust, registration number IT 3034. We have our recommendations listed before council from point 1 to 18. Can I please have a proposal in this regard?
Madam Speaker, I'd like to propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ali is proposing for approval. Do we have a seconder for Councillor Ali Jansen van Rensburg?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I would like to support the proposal.
Thank you very much, Executive Deputy Mayor. Is there any questions of clarity from any councillor? I see the light of Councillor Buddha and then Councillor Puntu in that order. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are against the selling of municipality land until they follow the there is a comprehensive land audit to identify all types of land in their rezoning and the land use status. That there is a spatial development framework and the land use that addresses imbalances of the past. The municipality has land use spatial development framework and promote inclusive and affordable housing in a residential land development. That prime land suitable for residential and social housing is not set aside and reserved as a nature reserve to secure status of the exclusive private estate and cluster housing for the region. Therefore, Madam Speaker, before you take a decision here, as the ANC, we are going to ask you 10 minutes caucus, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, no, but I note your request, Councillor Puntu. Are you covered? Okay, so I'll not do not have to allow you to speak. Councillor Buddha is requesting a 10-minute. Councillor Buddha, and he seems very angry. I don't want to be in that caucus now. The caucus request from the ANC is granted. We then wait for 10 minutes. Thank you.
Yung nag-isip ko ng utos pa. Ako nag-isip ko yung nag-ibakog na ako.
C has requested a caucus and I now request Councillor Buddha to address council with feedback. You may proceed, Councillor Buddha.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the ANC reject this item and any other item that serves the land without due processes of proper planning, rethinking, and effective public participation. Therefore, Speaker, this must be written in the minutes.
Thank you very much, Councillor Buddha. That is noted and recorded as such. The ANC is then against this item. Are there any other further inputs? Then we then move.
Madam Speaker,
Yeah, Kamper.
I also want to put my vote to the ANC.
Thank you, Councillor Kamper. We then note that ICOSA also is against this item. It is then recorded as such. Thank you very much, Councillor Kamper. We on item E23, page 151. The proposed transfer of the National Road and Road Reserve from Mossel Municipality to Sunrow. We have our recommendations listed on page 154, points 1 to 8. And I think they have a proposal in this regard.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll do propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor Delamain. Do I have a seconder for Councillor Delamain, please?
I second, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Klaasen. Is there any questions of clarity from any councillor at this stage? And the item thus carries unanimously. Thank you, councillors. We are then on item E24, page 155. The proposed elimination of a portion of Earth 7970, Mossel Bay, as well as a portion of Earth 6170, Mossel Bay, situated adjacent to Earth 8024, Mossel Bay. Number 16P, Obina Crescent, Danarai. Yamanis Gas. Can I please have a proposal in this regard?
Madam Speaker, I propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor Leroux, for proposing. Do we have a second for Councillor Leroux?
Yes, Honourable Speaker, I'm supporting the proposal.
Thank you very much, Executive Deputy Mayor. Is there any questions of clarity on on this item? I just also want to ask the ANC if their position then still stands, but if you can just put it on the record. Councillor House, I see. Okay, Councillor Buddha.
Yeah.
Councillor House.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I see when you look on 157.
157.
Yeah, we can look from C to C, especially you go to D.
Yeah.
You find out that there are questions. I don't know who answered those questions then. It seems to me it's answered the question on behalf of the land use committee. That is why I was asking previously, what is the conference of the land committee? Who answered this? Answers.
Thank you very much for your question, Councillor House.
Speaker, thank you. I will support the item. I would also just like to note, after a site visit, that I will be requesting the municipality to do an investigation and inspection in that entire area, because it seems to me that there might be several properties that have transgressed regarding boundary lines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor House. Municipal Manager, is then. Okay, yeah, we take note, Councillor House, from what you've raised. But Councillor Buddha did ask the question, and I don't know if he would like to respond or the director. In terms of, on page 157, Councillor Buddha is saying, if you look at, there it is marked A, B, C, till A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, yeah. Councillor Buddha is asking if, with reference to the format, the headings there in bold, is it questions and what answers that's provided, or why is it in such a fashion?
Speaker, thank you. I think what we see here is normal, Councillor Buddha. It's being done in all items, especially as far as language planning is concerned. We've got town planners who prepare these items. In this case, was our legal department because it's only for the rental of a small piece of land. But it's normal that when questions are asked, our officials who are experts in the field, they give the answers to inform council so that council can take an informed decision. That's basically what it is.
Councillor Buddha is happy then with that comment. We've noted the input by Councillor Post. Can I just get your position, Councillor Buddha, so you're not against this item? Okay, then, thank you very much. The item does carries. We are on item 325 on page 161. The approval for the purchase of portion 1 of the farm to Wafontein number 245 Mossel Bay. Yeah, this is the in between the Mossel Bay Municipality and Sandy County Smith. Our recommendations are listed from points 1 to 9. Can I please have a proposal on this item, please?
Madam Speaker, I would like to propose this item.
Thank you very much, Councillor Futsia. Do we have a second for Councillor Futsia?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I second the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mbundu, for seconding. Any questions of clarity or input? I see the light of Councillor Post and then Councillor Kuntu in that order. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker. I just wanted to say that the ACDP welcomes the purchase of this property, that we can get formal electrical supply in that area to those people. Then also that I note with great relief that we're no longer paying 9 million for property, but only 1.6.
Thank you very much. The ACDP that supports the item. Your comments are well noted. Councillor Kuntu.
MOC, Madam Speaker. My question on this item is the municipality aware that there are farm communities who are staying there?
Thank you very
And
much.
some of, yeah, who are staying there. Abanye bakuthi it and who launched a land rights. Umasipala uyayazi naloo nto. And our opposition on this item. This item must be referred back and further investigation be done to determine any pending claims on the land through title holder and legal ownership of the land.
Thank you very much. There's two things for Councillor Kuntu. Is asking if the municipality knows if this land being used by farmers. And then is proposing that it gets referred back. I will ask for a second and now. I just want the first question. Please be okay. Director Painter, will you be able to assist us? Can I have the light for Director Painter, please? Baie dankie, kan jy laat afsit vir raadslid. Dankie raadslid, maar te sien. Thank you, Director Painter.
Thank you, Speaker. No, we are not aware of land claims against this portion of land. Not officially so we haven't seen anything regarding that. So that might be relates also to the farming community who's claiming the land. We are not formally aware of it. So, yeah.
There's nothing on the record.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Director Painter. Yes, Councillor Buddha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In the same accord, you see the land was speaking about that land there and the land next to the land. If I'm not mistaken, there is a farm that is a building that person stayed there a number of years there. And then, like now today, there's a person they stay there. That is why we say, let us make a proper consultation to those people to make sure we are not putting this municipality in dispute. If those people maybe they make a land claim, they've got a title deed for that land. Proper consultation before we are, all of us, we are aware that we want us to make the human settlement a place to stay. But let us make proper consultation. before we do anything.
Thank you very much, Councillor Buddha. I then want to understand, Councillor Kontu is saying refer back. You asking for consultation. What's the position of the ANC?
Go refer back.
To refer back. Good. Can we have a seconder for that proposal? Is there a seconder? Thank you very much, Councillor De Paula. So the ICDP is in support. It has been proposed by the DA and seconded. The ANC is asking for the item to be referred back. It has been seconded. I'm now going to put it to a vote. Can I please see those in support with the proposal by Councillor Kontu, seconded by Councillor De Paula, by the show of hands, please? Thank you very much. It's the PA and the COSA who supported that request to refer back. Can I have the position of the freedom fund, please? Yeah.
Support item.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Those in favor of the proposal by Councillor Smith, can I please see your hands? Anyone, thank you very much. The item being has carried and request for consultation is also noted municipal manager. Thank you very much, Councillor. We're moving then to item E26. The item in front of us is the upgrading of Trunk Road PR-1 at Beach Boulevard West to Carrot Street, acquisition of portions of properties needed for municipal street purposes, installation of a structural load-bearing cover over stormwater canal, and registration of a servitude in favor of the municipality over a portion of the remainder of 457 Action Post. Our recommendations are listed in front of us from points 1 to 9. Can I please have a proposal in this regard?
Madam Speaker, you do have a proposer, Councillor Leon van Dijk.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Councillor Leon van Dijk, also the ward councillor there. Do we have a seconder for Councillor van Dijk in this regard?
Madam Speaker, I would like to second this item.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sia. Is there any questions of clarity from any councillor? I see the light of Councillor Kaya. You may proceed.
Madam Speaker, as we are saying, a land audit and land committee must be keep on our heads. As the ANC will detect the items and other items that serve the land without the process of proper planning, clean thinking, and effective public participation. That's what we're reading the minutes.
Thank you very much, Councillor Buddha. It is then recorded as such. The ANC is against for the reasons mentioned by Councillor Buddha. Is there any other input? Do you want to add, Councillor Kuntu?
I just want to check whether you are 26 or 27.
26.
26. Yeah.
Now we are on item E26, page 160.
I think my chief whip is talking about 27.
Okay, so ik begin met ja, dit is al later dag, ja, ons verstaan. Ons verstaan die item E26, daar scan is, ons is amper daar, raadsreport, ons is amper daar. We are then on item E27, page 171. The proposed alienation of a portion of Earth 17356. Artambos situated adjacent to Earth 1734 between 13 and 15 Reiland, number 8, Samuel Park, Yal, Hannekom. Can I have a proposal in this regard, please?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As the ward councillor, I wish to propose this land cannot be used for other purposes. Trying to preempt my ANC colleagues here who've already expressed their dissatisfaction and hoping I can convince them to support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Taking a get there. Thank you, Councillor Botha. As the road councillors proposing, we have a second for Councillor Botha.
Honourable Speaker, I am seconding the proposal.
Thank you very much, Executive Deputy Mayor. Councillor Buddha, as you said, we code and such, not a problem. Councillor Coates, I see your line.
Thank you, Speaker. If I could perhaps, I don't want to put the ward council on the spot, but I was at the site to take a look at it, but it was pretty dark by that stage. I thought it was a built-up property and there was going to be a section of land between two properties, but it seems like the entire section from house number 11 up to house number, it was 21 or something, is an open section of land. If you could perhaps just give clarity on that. Thank you. I did look at the maps as well, but that didn't help. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thanks, Councillor House. Ward Councillor, can you provide clarity? You're more than welcome to answer.
Madam Speaker, this question I feel should be answered by the administration and it's that nature.
Thank you very much, Ward Councillor. We respect as such. Director Venter, will you be able to assist?
I'm also trying to find the map now. I know it was shown at the committee meetings and it would probably be easier for me to put the map in front of me to perhaps provide more clarity. Speaker, sorry about that, but yeah, it's difficult for me without the map now. If I can perhaps quickly go through this and indicate to you, if possible.
Not a problem. I can grant as such, Amen.
Yes.
Okay, we will then. Can I ask that we move on to the next item and then we can come back and I rule as such so that we can Director Venter. Oh, you ready for us? Like this is no Superman number 2 here, meneer Venter.
Not very Superman, actually assisted me, Speaker.
I was wondering why Mr. Naidu was so quiet since this morning. Thanks, Mr. Naidu.
It's actually, there's a small portion that is located between the two. So that belongs to the municipality. So it's not the whole total stretch of it's a small portion, a narrow piece of land. Yeah. It's not all of that you see there.
Thank you very much for your clarity. Councillor Post, you come to
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, I understood it's a small portion, but is it a small portion between two unbuilt areas? Okay, thank you.
Are you happy with the item, Councillor Post? You're not against? Yes, opposed. Thank you very much. The item that's carried with the ANC input, Councillor Mputi, that has been duly noted as raised by Councillor Buddha. We then move to item E28. Calculated in the asset, page 176. The application for a waiver of the restrictive condition as contained in clause C1 of title deed number T5499/2017 of 5185 Kwaningaba, situated at 5185 Adrian's Avenue by the Potter's Hand Impact Ministries, South Africa. We have the recommendations listed in front of us from points 1 to 9 for approval. Can I please request a proposal in this regard? An application for a waiver. Do we have a proposal?
Yes, Speaker, I do propose that E28 should be carried through.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tabu. Do we have a seconder for Councillor Tabu?
You do, Speaker, on this side of your house.
Thank you very much, Councillor Post.
I'd like to just give you the reason why it's important. One, in line with the Mayor's growth strategy of moral regeneration. Churches are critical to that in society. Thank you, Speaker.
Well noted. Thank you, Councillor Post. I note no other lights, and I assume Councillor Buddha is smiling for me. There's no objections. This item does carries unanimously. Page 181. We are now on item E29, Councillor Kuntu. The the proposed alienation of 21791, Mossel Bay, situated at Alma Park, Jeffrey Drive, Mossel Bay, by the means of a tender process. Can I please have a proposal on this item, please?
Madam Speaker, we would like to refer this item back.
Thank you. Councillor, you wish to report council as for the reason very shortly.
Madam Speaker, we just want to consult with administration so that we can possibly see what the purpose of the development would be to be included with the tender.
Baie dankie, Rats. The item does get referred back, Councillor Mkhulu. Especially for you. On page 187, we are now on item E30, the alienation of a portion of a public open space, the remainder of 2015 situated adjacent to 2032 at number 16 Essenhout Avenue, Hartlepoort, Martins Mulder Family Trust. We have our recommendations listed in front of us. Apologies, from point 1 to 13, and can I please ask for a proposal?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I will propose. Councillor Leon van Dijk.
Thank you very much, Councillor Leon, who is also the ward councillor there. Okay, do we have a second for Councillor Leon, please?
I will second, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Porter. Is there any questions or input? I see the light of Councillor Ultimate.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd just like the item for council to note that the item states that the section of land be consolidated. In other words, as if it's a future event, but if you visit the site, you'll actually discover a fait accompli. There's a very well-established garden and lawn and walk. So this has been done long ago, and we are simply just rubber stamping it now.
Noted, Councillor Fox, it seems that if you visited the site, your huiswerk is gedoen daarso, baie dankie. So is no gladly against me, but you're really informing us. I see the light of Councillor Kontu.
Madam Speaker, on this item, you are still saying the same thing for the same other item of animations. And I've noticed that all these animations happen to the ward of Councillor Porter. I don't know whether it's the agent.
Councillor Kontu was know that you are.
Point of order, Madam Speaker, I'm not an estate agent. And also I'm not selling the land or buying it.
Thank you, Councillor Kontu, withdraw, please.
Okay, I must withdraw what I'm saying, but I must also take this council that we agree on this council even previous. We've been complaining about the way we do things here. Here we agree now we have a planning land committee. Then that committee is supposed to do this one. Now we've been informed all this land by the officials have been always raising that thing. This issue of selling land is not right. I withdraw what I was saying.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Kontu. When I ask you to withdraw, then you can make a speech. But thank you for withdrawing. That's now on record. And you've indicated that the ANC position is as with the previous items. So we will just minute as such, Councillor Buddha. Am I correct? Okay, you are the ANC is then against for the reasons mentioned.
Madam Speaker.
Thanks, Councillor Kontu. Ja, Raadslid Campbell.
Anti-causa same, né?
Goed so. Ons teken dit ook aan.
Please, ma'am.
Ons doen dit. Ja. So in the inputs or lights, thank you very much. We then on item E51. We've got 2 points there. The item is for the proposed alienation of portions 1, 6, and 7 of 26 Hartlepoort on the corners of Royals, Enhout, and Boekenhout Streets by the means of a tender process. The second point is also proposed elimination of portions 2, 3, 4, and 8 of Earth 26 in Actabos on the corners of Royal, Skinner, and Buckingham Streets to the adjacent owners to be consolidated with their properties. Our recommendations are in front of us for council to approve from point second, point 1 to 18. Can I please have a proposal in this regard?
Madam Speaker, as the ward councillor, I will propose at this stage, but with the clear understanding that the public participation process still has to be followed. That the ward councillor and the ward committee will also submit their inputs, and that the land use planning committee will also consider this matter. I will propose it then go out in the stage, and then we will engage with the public accordingly. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you for your proposal, and those who requested are well noted. Do we have a seconder for the ward council on the item?
Second speaker.
Thank you. No, the second here. Oh, my apologies. Permission, if you can
Speaker, if the ACDP may just request that when the item does return to council again, that a more complete valuation report be included. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Post. Amen. The ICDP is requesting a valuation report. Councillor Kwaza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And then ANC stand is still standing. Just if Councillor view the land as a good for town housing, why can the same land not be good for social housing to accommodate people with no housing? Our poor people with no land, why intention to sell the land to private developers? The second one, who take the decision that this land is not required for basic municipality service for the housing needs? Has the public been effectively consulted with that? Has the land use planning committee discussed that? And then number three, why approve selling before this item serve in the land committee?
Thank you very much, Councillor Kwaza. First, I note that the ANC remains with their position. Secondly, I note also your questions. Okay, I will ask Director Finter. I saw your light. Can I give to Director Finter to respond? Mr. Finter, would you like to respond to the questions?
For the social housing item, Speaker, that one is the land is simply too small. If you look what portions of lands were actually approved by council, specifically for social housing, then it's just, it doesn't make sense. You will not successfully be able to develop social housing with government supported grants on that portion of land. Then secondly, regarding the municipal services, that is something that we do with administration. First of all, clarifies on all items that we present to council for the consider to sell or not, that it does go to the various departments to clarify if it's needed for services or not, for municipal services or not. So that was done in this instance, and the council already expressed itself on that matter with the previous items. And then lastly, the land use committee only came into existence at the end of last year. So one will still find some items presented to council that did not go through the land use committee, but I believe that this item is indicated that the site development plans should be evaluated by the land use committee.
Very comprehensive response. Thank you very much, Director Finter. What council you wanted to add? Are you comfortable? Covered. Thank you very much. Councillor House, you also covered. We note then the position of the ANC and it is recorded as such. Thank you very much. We then move to item E32 on 2216. As a council, ja, iemand aan. Was het nog meer is ons aangedaan.
Speaker, sorry man. When you say the ANC, the position of the ANC on all these items, I want you please to add the council also to that.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's no record of the speaker.
Because goed, meneer, ik vraag voor het schonen. Of ze dan niet causa ze daar bij de INC in termen van die grondwet. Dank je, raadslid Kamper.
Dat is boeren doen.
Item E32.1, application for the renewal of the lease agreement of a portion of 311 Mossel Bay, Pinnacle Point Homeowners Association. Point 2, application for the renewal of the lease agreement of a portion of 15390. Previously, this was a portion of 2001 Mossel Bay with Pinnacle Point Homeowners Association. We have our recommendations in front of us from points 1 to 21 to, can I have a proposal in this regard, please?
Speaker, I propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor Leroux. Do I have a seconder for Councillor Leroux, please?
Madam Speaker, I second the item.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Any questions of you, please? In terms of this lease agreements, I see the light of Councillor First and then Councillor Kuntu in that order. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, let me say that on behalf of the ACDP, we are not against conservation and the preservation of sensitive areas. But I do have concern about the fact that we've noted, as a caveat in this item, we've noted that we should be able to give a 3 months notice period if we want to use any of that land for further development. But in the same item, we also say that they've been granted permission to rehabilitate little dam holes and stock the area with small game and so on. So should we at a later stage decide that we do need the land for housing, which is an urgent need, not just for the poor, but for the middle income groups in Mossel Bay as well, what would happen then with the wild game? And then the other thing that I'd like to ask is the item states that the public will have reasonable access, reasonable controlled access. And I'd like that to be defined for me, because currently the way it looks is if this is actually going to become, because it's also going a request to be rezoned to a private open space, making it sound more like a private nature reserve, a private little game reserve that will not be as easily accessible to the general public. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor House, for your questions. Councillor Kuntu and then Councillor Kamper.
Okay, Madam Speaker, my question here, why does Councillor consider renewal of a land of this size and magnitude, given that the scarcity of land and demands for proper land for housing and other needs given the growing population of this town? Second question, are these homeowners association blocking any housing or other developments near to their properties? Is this not manipulative and creating exclusive boundary for their properties and to their disadvantage of the public? That's my question.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kuntu. Are you finished? Thank you.
And I hope this thing must be referred back, but I'll wait for the answer.
Ja, ik wat ook nog op Facebook staat, Raadslid Kamper.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, I want to say this in Afrikaans. Because I think it's a disgrace that something like that coming still to our council meetings, hiring of property for 9 years, 10 years, 11 years, 100 years. And that's why I put my vote to the ANC about those things. And through you, Madam Speaker, to the MM. For the last 3 years, I plead to council to give us a list of how the properties in Mossel Bay given percentage-wise to people. that we can know exactly, because there's people in the community applying for property, business, and nothing happened. And when it comes to this, it's so easy for other people to just come and say, listen, I want to hire this, and you know, and all know that there's a big need for housing, middle income, whatever. And I really think that's where we must stop, and that's the reason why I'm said I want to be part of that committee. Because if I'm not on the committee, I can't. It's difficult, because now I can put my what I want and what I want to say. I can put it now on the committee. Said, listen, I didn't agree. Otherwise, I will sit blank here, and every time coming to council is just 1 minute, 2 minutes, and we can't speak. But property, and I want through you, Speaker, ask that the MM must give us a list of percentage wise how many property goes to, and I must mention it now, to white, black, and colored people in Mossel Bay, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Campbell. If you could switch up your light. We then have the questions from the ICDP and INC. Minister Manager, can I ask, will you respond or will Director Venter?
Speaker, thanks. I'm going to give to Director Venter to respond on the question, Speaker. I must note we must look at where this issue comes from. This issue was this decision was taken many years ago, and these people asked to read these from council, and if the council is supposed to refer to the 3 months period, which we as administration, we saw it the same. There must be a way in which if council need that land for something or portion of it, that we can get out of it, we can get it back within a short space of time. Now, if you look at what Mossel Bay, that's basically the only green strip in Mossel Bay that we have. And I'm glad that some of the council mentioned how important conserving our environment is as well. Chairperson, Speaker, I think I'm going to give over to Mr. Venter. There's a lot of questions asked. As far as Councillor Comfort's question is, Speaker, I think there's no piece of land. There was never a piece of land, in my view, given to any developer or applicant that didn't go through council. The administration cannot alienate council land. Only council can do it. Whether it be by open tender, whether it be by people asking to buy small pieces of land, like some of them that went through here. There wasn't a single piece of land. If there was, it's usually where we alienated land. Everything went through council. But I'm going to give over to Director Venter, who's got more information on this item as we speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Venter.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm not sure if I will cover or per question. I will just give more of a general response. First of all, council is absolutely correct. One cannot, and it's not within council to reserve portions of land or specific land for specific individuals or income groups. That is not what council does. When council do reserve land for specific development, it's through a proper council decision where it's well debated and facts presented to council. So in this instance, it was done. And recommendation number 3 actually covers that point where council already said that this land should be developed in future for future township development, which actually includes various types of housing developments. For instance, from your subsidized government housing developments, the so-called RDP houses that we know of, up till your social housing, middle income housing, and then there's also, which is not government sponsored, but higher income residential developments. Also, the development that council already approved, the proposed development for that land also includes business development, as well as some open space development, as well as sport fields, etc. So, but council are welcome to refer back to that item if they want more information on that one, but that's the summary. So in order for, and where we are in terms of that development is we are busy with the necessary environmental authorization processes. So the public consultation process has already happened and some to follow after the basic assessment report has been submitted to the department, and that we are very close to that. And once that is concluded, we will finalize the planning processes. So that the rights can for the future development of this land. And therefore, based on what I just said, recommendation number 4, that should we start to develop the land, we must be in a position to actually, get it out of this lease agreement. And that is why recommendation 4 states for 3 months that the notice be given to the lease the land.
Very much, Director Flinton, for your comprehensive response. Follow up by Councillor Fosun and Councillor Townsend, Councillor. Then we'll conclude on this item.
Thank you, Speaker. I think my main concern hasn't been addressed, which is public access. What guarantee that the broader public of Mossel Bay will also be able to enjoy this open space, and why is it zoned to private? Or is there a need to zone it to private open space? Thank you.
Thank you, Director Flinton. Would you like to respond?
Yeah, I can just the rezoning aspect. I can't comment on the concern regarding the access. But regarding and I think perhaps it's 7.6, I don't think that there will be a need to do this as council will actually develop the land.
Thank you very much. Councillor Kuntu.
Okay, thanks, Madam Speaker. I must say, Madam Speaker, our objective, what must be written in the minutes in regarding with this item. I don't know whether your side was what you will say, because I say the director is saying that they are willing to refer this back. But we are against the renewal of list of listing of municipal land until following has begun, as we said to other items. But I will just add that this item, that prime land suitable for residential and social housing is not set aside and reserved as a nature reserves to secure status of exclusive private estate and cluster housing for the rich. I just want to add to those that were saying. Then my time.
So the cell phone is saying.
I don't understand what you were saying.
I don't understand it. You don't understand?
No,
Lady in the phone says.
There's another thing that I want to add here. We have a land committee now. But we need to check whether this councillor is moving on the right directions. Because here, if you check the SPLOMA, is saying to us we must have a land use policy, application procedure, decision making, structure, and the content of the land use scheme must be supported to promotion of equitable social transformation and inclusive economic development. Have you checked here in Mossel Bay? We have people here, as I normally say, we have people that are, we have a king here. I think it's a councillor, is a king. We have a king here. We have a king here. But according to my knowledge, we don't have a king without land. The king must have a land. And the other thing, this land, the land in Mossel Bay, it's only for other people. We have people here who are excluded to the land. So we need to check that thing as a council, as I quoted to the SPLOMA.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kuntu. Yes, we quoted SPLOMA very correctly there. I then note that you're adding to your position as the ANC all the comments mentioned, and that it is recorded as such by the Councillor Kamfer,
Aan het spreker, ik wil niet de rechtstelling maken, wat ik hem gemaakt heb.
as het gous kan het nog bij ik kan laten.
Ik moet niet de rechtstelling maken. Ik heb nooit gezien dat grond is te geven vir mense. Ik verwijs naar onze raadsvergadering waar items op die raadsagenda. Ik denk dat het grond is om wat u van weet. So ik het door dat comment gemaakt. En die ander ding is, als die vorige raad of rade 20 jaar terug besluit oor sekere goed geneem het, dan is nodig speaker dat ons diezelfde trend moet gaan as grond uitgehuur was vir 10 jaar en 12 jaar, wil dit is ons moet diezelfde trends gaan as wat die vorige raad gegaan het die as die twee comments wat ek gemaak het, wat die gemaak het.
Dank u, raadslid. Dit is van kennis geneem. Can I just, I was thinking I'm hearing a video, but I hear it's you. If I am correct, I'll place a record signal. We have a proposal by Councillor Leroux, which we just speaker. Yes,
just a comment from myself.
You made.
The very reason why I support this item is the fact that I think people it is long in Mossel will know. There's a specific reason why that piece of land is not developed yet. Because when they had this big development of Pinnacle Point in the casino, they find the remains of the first people's land. That is one of the reasons. Next year, this time, the Khoi peoples will also be here in this council. Also be here to protect the remains of the heritage site. Thanks.
Thanks for your input. It's well noted. We are aware as the close.
Thank you, Speaker, for the last question. I firstly thank Councillor Baron for that information. I was not aware of that. Thank you very much. And then secondly, as Director Venter has mentioned that the zoning will not be necessary, why will be then included in the item? Why is it included as 7.6 in the item?
Thank you.
From public to private open space.
Thank you, Councillor Post, for your last question. Director Venter, 0.7.6 does indicate that for the zoning of the land for private open space for purposes of a nature conservation area, would you like to provide clarity?
Peter, only perhaps clarity on that I can give on this matter is as indicated, the item has history to it, and I think that was included at that stage because of the absence at that point in time of what council's future intent is with the land. So, but I think the delegation and so on will be given to the municipal manager to finalize this contract and then perhaps consider taking down about that I can't comment too much.
Thank you very much, Director Venter. And I wish to bring this item to conclusion. Can I please just have an indication from the ICT Council Funds? We've covered with all your questions. What's your position on the item?
Thank you, Speaker. I think I just might not be clear on whether this item is now going out for public participation. It is correct. So then it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Holmes. The ANC has made their position clear. ICOSA says that they joining the ANC in terms of
That's correct.
position. The Freedom Front is in support, and also the Democratic Alliance. All the input has been duly noted and recorded as such. Thank you very much, councillors. We are then on page 2 to 5, item E33. The Federal SA Social and Labour Plan for 2022 to 2028. We have the recommendations listed from points 1 to 4. And I would like to request a proposal in this regard.
Thank you. I will propose that item with the amendment on point 3.
Yes, Councillor Patricia.
that should be that the municipal manager is dedicated to negotiate, finalize, and sign the memorandum of understanding with the people on behalf of the. With due consideration of maintenance and operational costs. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much for your proposal, Councillor Shatunsha, with that amendment 2.3. Do I have a seconder for Councillor Shatunsha?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to second item 3 with amendment requirements.
Thank you very much. Seconded with the amendments. Is there any councillor any questions to this item? I see the hand of Councillor House. You might proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. I have two questions. The first one, if we could just get some kind of indication around what happened to the Yes Hub, where does that stand? And then the other thing is that Petra SA, if the media is to be believed and talk in town, is essentially bankrupt. They're looking for partners to bail them out. Where are they going to get 9 million rand to develop assets in the Mossel Municipality? Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. Do we have any other questions of clarity? No lights, Municipal Manager.
I'll ask Mr. Fenton.
Okay, I see that the mayor wants to comment, or I can give to Director Fenton to quickly respond. Mayor, would you like to add?
No, I might be wrong.
Okay,
but as far as I understand it, Petra has got legislative requirements in terms of the social responsibilities. So I think the planning is in terms of that legislation. And then I think the Yes Hub is more to do with Transnet. Port Authority Transnet, not with Petra, so it's two different factors.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Mayor, you are correct that specific project lights will be. Director Fenton, would you like to add? The Mayor covered the response. Yes, Councillor Hope, your second opportunity.
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, I understand, but if I remember correctly, in that item, it's mentioned that ground that was originally going to be used for the Yes Hub is now going to be used in this project. I hope I haven't confused items, but I think that is what was said. And yes, my concern is despite legislative requirements, I don't know where they're going to find the money to do it. It's going to have to come from Treasury, which means all of our pockets.
Thank you, Councillor House. Councillor Budas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was wondering why the ward councillors all they are not involved with this partnership. Because I don't know who identified a specific dose program. I saw in the car, Wi-Fi, and so on, so much money, so on and so on. In terms of the ITP, we know exactly what the wish list is. Our communities. I wonder why you are not involved as a ward councillor in the greater municipality, the 15 wards. You know, all of us who are just saving in the medical, I don't know, act on our behalf.
Thank you, Councillor Buddha. Councillor Buddha is asking why ward councillors was not involved. Even this item of vote by Ms. Hadi. And yeah, there is a purpose and background to it. And I believe it was the LED department who was part of this process. Can you just respond?
Chairperson, just to respond to Councillor Fosa's concern maybe about the state of. This item gave me hope for Petro SA. No, really. Remember, we're not aware of everything that's going on. Sometimes we only need to know. If they came and said, listen, we want to sign this agreement, they did it last item in 2007 for an amount of 28 million. Then it gives me hope for Petro SA. It says something is happening somewhere that will be beneficial to our town. Not only in this project, but also for job creation and so on. And how they do it normally, councillors, they come to us because how can I explain this? They don't want to put things out in the public domain too soon. Last time they came to the mayor and the MM and they put certain suggestions on the table. Normally, they want to do some of the projects and the municipality will want to do some of the projects. That's how they do it. They don't involve the councillors at all. And the reason why it's here is to inform council that this is what they planning. Mr. Venter, the agreement will state that a committee consisting of Petro SA and municipality will be formed to discuss the way forward as far as these projects are concerned. I don't think it's any intention for, or mentions of I don't think that's the intention, but they do it normally in a way that it's not open to the public from day one. It's only once they secure everything, then they go. But the reason why is here is to inform council about it.
Thank you very much, Public Council, Councillor Buddha. Is there any objections to this item? And the item then does carry unanimously, and we welcome the bill of the council. With all the inputs and concerns using item. Item E34, the disposal of capital assets on page 227. Can I have a proposal in this regard, please?
Madam Speaker, I'll propose.
Thank you very much, Councillor Furness. Do I have a second for Councillor Furness?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I second it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mayor. Highly appreciated. Any inputs from anybody? And we are then at item E35, Business and Events Committee, composition of this committee. We have our recommendation listed from point 1 to 3. Can I please have a proposal?
Proposed speakers.
Thank you very much, Executive Mayor. Do I have a seconder for the Executive Mayor?
Madam Speaker, I second it.
Thank you very much, Alderman Boyson. Is there any questions or clarity or input in this committee? None, thank you. The item does carry unanimously. Item E36, the honors bylaw commendation certificate for the NSRI Station 15 Mossel and life-saving medical rescue services and training. Our recommendations are listed from points 1 to 3, and should council then take this decision, these entities will be invited to the next council meetings. Do we have a proposal for the item in front of us, please?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kanamaya. Do we have a seconder?
Madam Speaker, I'm second.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gitsia. Any input questions by anybody? Done. Thank you very much. That brings us then to the end of our open council meeting. We now only have for in committee.
Sorry, Speaker.
Yes, Mayor.
I'm actually now.
You taking us back, Mayor?
Yeah, sorry, Speaker.
Okay. Ons verstaan, dit is al later.
Yeah, E35, sorry, Speaker.
Not a problem. E35?
Yes, yeah, we still, sorry, we missed that. Thank you to Mr. Prince, who stated to me that since I've been the proposer, we still need a name from the opposition for the secondary. So again, please provide the name.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. We then go back to item E35, and the Mayor is amending that proposal that there should be a name for the opposition. Would it possible for our council work to? Yes, council work. Councillor Baron, can I please have the light for the council work quickly? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, if we can just ask for a 5-minute caucus then between the votes to see if we can find a name for that secretary.
That could be okay, or you can arrange that that name be submitted then to the office after consultation. Would that be appropriate? If
Can I make a proposal, please?
yeah.
Before we break.
If it comes clearly,
Now, my proposal is to go to the committee. This committee. through the names.
Yes.
I wanted to propose Councillor Liebenberg as part of the committee.
Okay.
But although Sukundi, you can't be Sukundi as part of a committee for 5 years. So Sukundi means nothing. I think the ruling party have formed that you can swap in the Sukundi Councillor Liebenberg as part of the committee. Then we are prepared. Otherwise, it's nothing. It's no working.
Thank you for your input. Councillor, can you please switch up your mic? I must, I must say that I believe in my opinion that Sukundi is very important. Just the other day, we missed a very critical meeting because they were not corrected and the Sukundi was not informed and it does play a very critical role in committees of council. But your point is noted, Councillor Bowles.
Speaker, I'm happy to withdraw and withdraw the space to the pre-front. Thank you.
In the spirit of the governance, Councillor Bowles is withdrawing. For Councillor Liebenberg, can I just get to the proposal now? Councillor, ons pak net gou die 5 minute caucus. Executive Mayor, there's now amendment to your proposal. Councillor House, who is a part of this committee now, is prepared to stand down for Councillor Liebenberg as per the Freedom Front proposal. She said that she's willing to do that. So that would just mean a swap. But we will then still need a Sukundi. We will then still need a Sukundi. I don't know if Councillor House. That proposal must come from the floor.
Madam Speaker, I would move my request for that caucus then, and then I'll say, I'll support that, I'll second that motion by Councillor House.
Fantastic. Do we then have the proposal for Councillor Liebenberg to be in the place of Councillor House and then Councillor House acts as the Kundi?
Madam Speaker, just clarification, Councillor. Yes, Councillor House would then be the Sekundi if she agrees.
She does agree to it, Councillor House. Goed, dit is aan die voorstel en hy sal sekondeer. Baie dankie. Die punt is dan afgehandel, burgemeester, is tevrede.
It is maybe I'm glad that the opposition could get to a decision because obviously this committee has been operating for a year already or a few months, so we're glad that they're now on board.
Yeah, I'm also happy that this good spirit and I love what I see playing out here. Councillors, that has brought us to the end of our open council meeting. And I would like to request that the public please just excuse themselves. Thank you very much for joining us. We just have one item for the committee. That is just the confirmation and signing of our previous council minutes. The minutes of the ordinary council meeting held in closed session on Thursday, the 24th of November 2022 for folio numbers 298 to 293.